whatever part you want. Star-Spangled Banner? So you're going to begin us with Star-Spangled Banner. You're right on that one.
She sounded great. She did. She goes to Dodgers training camp in Arizona.
So if you're confused, you can swap. And then
When did she do that? Like a week ago? Or this week? Early this week? The bid?
and if she snuck
Is
in,
it Phoenix or Tucson? Oh, you know what? I grew up in Cleveland, so the Indians used, the Guardians used to train in Tucson. That's why I said.
yeah, so we were all focused, I think. No, but that's why for me, I wish he doesn't know. So I saw it that way. It's all good.
Ran into each other in this territory.
And I will be back. But we're starting right at the top. Yeah.
There was supposed to be some kind of a,
Yes.
an app thing that they, well, we would be connected to that. But no one, he realized that I guess he was, that's a funny looking name. He just finished that they're using it, which was specific to this. Right.
So it's slow at the top, that's where it picks up.
It's Lily's
Okay, gotcha.
about timing Wednesday. Sorry. So Friday's not good.
Actually, she's at a new stage. She's on one now, and she so that her Friday time worked when she was on two, but she transitioned to one now. We have to recuperate. Stayed up, evaluate, worked,
Okay.
schedule.
Okay.
Because my mom has her, can be around her sometimes.
But I'm flexible too. It's just it doesn't work Wednesday.
10:30 might. I said to my mom,
I mean, I can do 11 if that's easy. I mean,
if she's with her, it's like,
okay, all right. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm trying. I had a kid come to me. Mary Itchery sent me a kid who's doing Charlie Brown. Yeah. He comes in. I said, Daniel, you have to go.
My dear friend.
I didn't sound like that. I think
No, but I mean, like the kids don't.
Well, those were remember them well.
You don't want to get sick. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, before
Was it in Malibu?
you have them, but even before, in the
Right.
beginning,
It's still not good.
White, black and white stripes.
Senior counselor, all different names, and then I
Just turns its ashes.
played the piano, so it was unusual, I was the next Chuck Fellow at CHK. So it was, that's my oldest boy. No, I have a daughter. Yes, but they didn't love it like that. My daughter went through leadership.
This lady who's
And
singing
then
here.
it was around that time when she was over that before you could read CIT.
Whatever that means.
Skip a year, yeah. She didn't want to Jerry. My son didn't want to.
Thanks, I needed that.
She sang.
my older one went through leadership, and when I was older one,
How are you?
I'm fine. You need to meet my good friend Susan. We go back.
Hi, Susan. I'm Ricky Gold. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So what did you think of this?
I thought they did a great job. Which day? Which?
I went Sunday. I saw the cast of Tennessee.
Oh, I saw that cast. I had kids in both casts. So I went.
Diesel leader, and you know who
some point. I won last weekend. I couldn't go. My
This is your 30-second warning.
Yeah, can you grab two? I'll go.
30-second warning. 30-second warning. There we go.
The talent.
Please alert our stations down the line. I don't think they say that anymore, but
Okay, that's a good idea.
you're not going to get punished.
Then
Go ahead.
I'm going to get rid of it.
I lost my train of thought. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Shabbat shalom, 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 Shabbat shalom. Say it with me, u'mevorach, u'mevorach. U'mevorach means and blessed. Shabbat shalom. May this be a Shabbat full of peace and goodness and wholeness for all of us. We need it. And may it be a Shabbat full of blessing and all of the things that we're thankful for, and being together in this room as a start to that, and a future choir member over there. Shabbat shalom. U'mevorach. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. U'mevorach. Let's fill this room with Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
I think we may have mentioned this last week. Everybody who is sitting here, who comes into Shabbat services, comes in for something different. Whatever your reason for being here tonight, whether it's a reason of great joy or a reason of grief or bereavement, or if you're just here to celebrate Shabbat. Everyone has a different point of view and a different energy as you come in. And part of the reason, I think maybe the most important part about Kabbalat Shabbat, all these songs that we're going to certainly hear in a minute, is for all of us to find our way towards the same energy, even though it's hard, even though we all have different things going on in our lives, even though we're at different stages in our lives. We're all, as members of our community, trying to take everyone's energy and create something unique and wonderful for Shabbat. And that's really Kabbalat Shabbat, which is the service that leads up to the Baruch, essentially. Kabbalat Shabbat is designed to get everyone on the same spiritual page. So we're going to hear great and inviting music from our choir, from Rabbi Cantor Wissett and Rabbi Cantor Bloom. So let us all focus on the words of the songs, on the melodies, so we can move into this wonderful, wonderful common energy that will elevate Shabbat for everyone.
We're on page 131, Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash, sing unto God a new song. It's just a pleasure to sing a new song, for sure, but sometimes when we've been singing a song that we're not so happy with, maybe we can turn the page and sing a different song. There's so many ways to understand this particular text. Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash, Shir Chadash can function for wherever and whatever you are feeling at this moment. Page 131. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Try that with us. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Shiru, shiru l'Adonai. Shiru, shiru l'Adonai. Shiru l'Adonai. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. We are about to continue on page 135. Ohavei Adonai sinura, shomer nafshot chasidam miad rashaim yatzilein. Or zaru al tzadik u'yishrei simcha, simchu tzadikim Adonai, vehodu lezecher kodsho. Bottom of the page, 135, 6 lines up. Romemu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Romemu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Romemu, romemu, climb that mountain. Romemu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Romemu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Ve'ishtachavu l'adam raglav. Kadosh hu Adonai Eloheinu. Ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Romemu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. We are on page 136. Mizmor leDavid, Havu l'Adonai, b'nei li. Havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz. Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo. Ishtachavu l'Adonai be'adrat kodesh. Kol Adonai, 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 the voice of God that created everything we know, the voice of God that we are searching to hear in our lives, the voice of God that we really need at certain moments of our lives to bring us together, to bring us uplift, to bring us goodness, to bring us understanding and wisdom. Kol Adonai, sing it with me. Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai. Kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim. Adonai al mayim rabim, al mayim rabim. Kol Adonai, 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 Kol Adonai b'koach, Kol Adonai be'adar, Kol Adonai shover arzim, v'yishaber Adonai et arsei halvanon. Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai. Vayarkidem kemo egel, Lebanon v'Sion kemo ren reimim. Kol Adonai chotzev lavot esh, Kol Adonai achil midbar. Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai. Adonai lamabul yashar, Vayeshev Adonai melech leolam. Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Adonai. We begin to formally welcome in Shabbat with Lecha Dodi on page 138. Kol שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד. השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תהילה. ירגלי ילללי לך דודי, ילללי לקראת כלה, ילללי פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. We rise and face the entrance to our room, welcoming in the Shabbat bride. בואי בשלום, עטרת עליו, גם בשמחה ובצלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, יאי לי לי, יאללה לה 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 לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. יאללה לה לה לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה.
As we have greeted Shabbat, let's take a moment to make sure we're worshiping with people that we know. If you don't know someone that you're in front of, behind of, to the side of, make sure you let them know who you are and introduce yourself, or just refresh your memory. Either way. Shabbat Shalom again. It's time to kindle the lights of Shabbat. And of course, we're going to invite up anybody who has not yet become a bat mitzvah or a bar mitzvah, if you've not been called to the Torah yet as a bar or bat mitzvah,
Rabbi, even if your bat mitzvah
do
happens
we
to
have
maybe
anybody
be, like tomorrow,
in that position? Oh,
think that we
fortunately we do. How did you know, Rabbi Cantor-Wissett?
that's pretty great. And everybody's wearing green. So
Is everybody is wearing? Did you wear green for St. Patty's Day? You really did. Oh, it's just coincidentally your bar mitzvah color.
oh, that's perfect.
Well, and there happen to be a lot of Jews in Ireland. Yeah. Did you ever hear of Guinness? It was originally Goldstein. Not a lot of people know that. And it sounds nicer to walk into an Irish bar and say I'd like a pint of Guinness than a pint of Goldstein. Let's go.
Let's sing the candle blessing. Wait, let's sing it one more time. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, b'mitzvotav. V'tzivanu, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, v'tzivanu, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, v'tzivanu, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, shel Shabbat. Yalla la la la, 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 yalla la. With the light of Shabbat and all the beautiful young lights of our Shabbat, we turn to page 146. 146, and we rise for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Page 148, Ma'ariv Aravim. The earth is made with such beauty that we're able to see the darkness facing the light and the light facing the darkness, because without either one of them, we wouldn't be able to sufficiently understand the other. Page 148. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvarav תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני. ברך וברוך שמו. Page 152. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשיתך ביתך ובלתך בדרך ושופך וקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות להם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem emet.
So we will continue with the Micha Mocha on page 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into the shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth, prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. We continue with the Shamru, written by our very own Rabbi Aronson, on page 162.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי שבת וינבש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Page 164, we rise. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרא שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה תפילתם, רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני לחיי המתים.
Shabbat Shalom. As we talked about at the beginning of the service, part of what we try to do in a Shabbat service is provide a way for everybody to focus their energy in the same area and get on the same spiritual page by taking wherever you are and helping us kind of come together. And Kabbalat Shabbat and the other prayers are meant to help do that for us. And hopefully by this time in the service, whatever you've brought into the sanctuary is at least able to join into the other energy, and at this point, hopefully direct our energy to prayers of healing, healing for members of our community who are in need of healing, a healing of body or healing of spirit. It could be someone you know who's going through a hard time. It could be you. It could be someone who is suffering from a physical condition, from a disease, or merely has a run-of-the-mill cold. Whoever that person is, our goal now is to focus ourselves and our intention on thinking about those folks and offering them prayers of full healing. So if there's someone close to you, I invite you now to mention their names.
Shmuel, Ben, Rachel, Nechashen, Bat.
We think also of Moshe Meir Dubashava, Rick Nelson, Richard Haft, Akiva Reynolds, Oscar Kornblum, Carl Jacobs, Sandy Kornblum, Susan Levin, Leah Bat Yehuda Valifshachana, Barbara Ross, Jody Usum, Fran Lotery, Howard Turner, Sid Cohen, Michelle Batchley, Abraham Halali, Barry Scher, Terry Curtis, Moses Lehrman, Michelle Posen, Harvey Pickus, Sandra Mandel, Emily Berg, Stacy Levin, Karen Bot Beatrice, Gershon Ben Eliezer Vasara, Beth Barber, Avram Rubin, Laura Klumek, and Stacy Adler. The Misha Berach is in your Siddur, in your Mishkan Tefillah on page 371.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Well, it is that time of the year when the familiar voice rings in the head of most Los Angelinos, whether they're baseball fans or not. It's time for Dodger baseball. Yes. Vin Scully's effortless optimism and his depth of passion for the game defined baseball, certainly in Los Angeles, but it also exemplified for so many of us the kind of time that happens in the spring. Just as the world is beginning to renew itself and we draw close to the summer, we begin to contemplate the longer days and imagine luxuriating in the light, which is still out right now. Time stretches out, or it begins to, and the emotional hibernation of the winter has a chance to break open. I love this time. And for me, like many baseball fans, this sacred, holy, patient time opens up on the baseball field. When we were at Dodger spring training during this past week, my husband and I met a man who asked us to take his picture in front of the field. He was in his 70s or maybe his 80s, and he was there alone. He came to enjoy the time out of some difficult things in his life, to just watch and scout the new players. There was such peace on his face as he talked to us about the game of baseball and how much it meant to him and how many years he'd been coming to spring training and how many people he had met, just like us, just chit-chatting between innings. Now, this year, though, there is a change in Major League Baseball that might be a game-changing problem. For me, at least, and for that gentleman, too. There are some new rules in Major League Baseball that, in my opinion, mess with the concept of baseball time. Now, I know that there are those who disagree with me, probably on this very bema, And my rabbinical students of a generation younger than mine support these rules and radically disagree with me. But I think that there is a problem with these rules that show us something that's foundationally a challenge at the core of American life. Now, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about and whose eyes glaze over when someone starts talking about sports minutia, let me promise you, first, that this is the very one and only time of the year when I actually speak about sports. And second, let me explain why I think this is actually a Jewish issue. Now, I was really moved last week, and you don't know this, Rabbi Aronson, at our morning service for our bar mitzvah, when Rabbi Aronson actually spoke about the building of the golden calf as a failure of the value of patience for the Israelite people. The Israelites, in their fear and panic, did what most human beings do. They raced impulsively to act. They forgot about any faith or any perspective they might have gained watching the sea part and experiencing the escape from slavery in Egypt. Patience is indeed an art form. It is not natural to human beings. It is built, and it is taught. This week's Torah portion begins with Moses gathering the people together. And the first thing he tells them is that God commands them to observe a day of rest, Shabbat. You might miss this little bit of the portion because the rest of it is about the work we need to do to build the tabernacle. But before we get to work on anything, we need to learn that rest and patience and time when we just stop and are refreshed, this is the core of everything else we will go on to do. Abraham Joshua Heschel wrote that Shabbat is an island in time. We have wandered through the desert. We have been exiled, temples destroyed. We have been forced to move from everything we knew. We have suffered hardships. And it's hard to imagine, perhaps, living comfortably here, but we know that throughout history, home has not been an actual place. Home means next year in Jerusalem. What we mean by that isn't necessarily a fixed spot in the land of Israel, but this mystical understanding of the Jerusalem of time. Home means family and friends. On Sukkot, we sit in a makeshift structure and we dwell outside our homes to remember that the deepest joy and the truest feeling of home isn't a place, and it isn't stuff we have. It is time itself. We see in our portion that to build a holy space, we have to include holy time. It's primary, it's foundational, and it requires patience. To build the tabernacle, we must first pause. We have to cease. We have to just be. We have to reflect. Only then can we go on to create what is sacred. Oddly, the time I and perhaps many of us personally got to experience this pause was at a really horrific time for our world, when we were stuck at home during the COVID lockdown. I don't think I need to say that this was a desperate time with terrible consequences, but one unintended consequence I actually miss is time with my family at the dinner table. I know not everyone got that time, and many were isolated from one another, alone and suffering. And I know also that many of us learned what life might be like without the racing around with no time to spare. This kind of time is incredibly hard to come by. It's why so many of us come here on Friday nights. Let's be honest, baseball is a long game. Some with busy lives wish they could just catch a game more quickly. Some who prefer the intense pace of other sports like basketball or hockey or football see the prospect of shortening the game, tightening it, giving it more excitement on a constant, ongoing basis to be an improvement over this very slow, agonizing game. So they perhaps are elated by the idea that the pitcher now has to follow a time clock, and the batter now cannot keep stepping out of the batter's box an infinite number of times. But frankly, I think that fans who are bored by the pace of baseball will probably always be bored by the pace of baseball, time clock or no time clock. And fans who understand that baseball is the embodiment of sacred time are going to miss that sense of infinity. Watching a pitcher take his time on the mound, watching him breathe, calm the mechanism, make decisions about the pitch, wind up and strike one. Watching the batter step out of the box, ritually touch his bat to his cleats, flip open his batting gloves and tighten them, and then settle in for the pitch. These small details are part of what is exciting about the game. And when games go on at a luxurious pace, and then with the crack of the bat, the runners are rounding the bases and the right fielder is racing as hard as he can, and you don't quite know what will happen, and the throw comes in and the runner is safe. Your heart begins to pound, and the time spent waiting and watching, that time helps you earn the crack of the bat, and that time is priceless. Baseball models what Shabbat is all about. There's a pace of life on the field that isn't like the rest of the world. There's a time in between the plays to talk to the people next to you. Food is eaten in innings, not in a rushed manner in order to get to the next. The places you have to go and the problems you have to solve, they wait. At least until the space between innings, and you know you can't get up until in between innings. I don't want to let that special time go. How many of us have places and times where we actively practice patience, where we actually get enforced rest, where we actually take time to just breathe? It's so imperative that this does not become a lost art. And baseball is one of the things that can help us continue to teach these lessons to our children. And I, for one, want that to go on for a really long time. I want to watch my children teach this lesson to their children. And I have to believe that the world would be better for these values. The world out there would be better for a little bit of Shabbat. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Shabbat Shalom.
Rabbi Cantor-Wisset, you don't even know what I'm going to say. First of all, let me just say to everybody, it would be way better if I got up here and told you that I actually disagreed with Rabbi Cantor-Wisset, because it's more interesting. But I happen to agree with her, and I think our conversation that we had passing in the hallway, I understand why they've made the changes. But I actually agree with you. I was quite happy. I mean, I've watched baseball my entire life, although all these years, and I was very happy with baseball and the pace of the game. And they made the change only for economic reasons and to try and accommodate it. I will say that since the era of, for example, Sandy Koufax, the game has gotten much longer just on its own without any changes because of the number of pitchers they change out, because of all these different things that happen. But we agree. I love baseball and loved it, and I've watched only one game so far in preseason, in exhibition and Grapefruit League. And I'm used to, you get a drink, you get some water, you do whatever, and you can keep an eye on the game.
Run.
And now you can't. I actually agree with you. But I understand why they made the change, unfortunately. But we agree. But on this issue, we happen to agree. I like baseball just fine.
For those of you who don't know, Rabbi Aronson and I have this wonderful banter about disagreeing about a lot of things, and it's so much fun to be able to see other sides of things.
It
It's
is.
one of the blessings of this clergy team.
It just happens to be that we're both big baseball fans. We talk about baseball all the time, and I happen to, agree. But the average age of a baseball fan in 2023 is 64 years old. And that's their problem. You don't have to
She doesn't care
worry.
about the rules.
And Major League Baseball is realizing that that's a challenge for them. So, can I say? I don't know. But I could not agree more. A little patience would go a long way. What's that? Yeah, 64. Danny Rogers, you, as the president of the Board of Trustees of Temple Judea, we have the honor of listening to you offer words of greeting.
Thank you very much, and Shabbat Shalom. And I too love baseball, and I also agree that I like the long games, although the many times they change out the pitchers does make it long. Anyway, welcome everyone. It's so wonderful to see you all here in this room tonight and bring your energy here to share Shabbat with us. I'm not loud enough. It's always my issue because I'm short. I think I need one of those. Where's the stool that the CITs?
Or you could do this.
Okay. There we go. That was too loud. Okay. Thank you to our musicians, and thank you, Rabbi Cantor Wissett, for your wonderful sermon tonight on patience. It's important for us all to remember. And a mazel tov to Adriana Goldberg and her family on her upcoming bat mitzvah. And hope you all have a wonderful Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
Well, as the sermon about baseball indicated, we're just about at the end of March. This is the third Shabbat of March. It's hard to believe. And that means a lot of things in addition to the opening game is just a week and a half or so away, 2 weeks. It's also the time we recognize anniversaries. So if you were married in the month of March, we would love to have you join us at the Bima for a blessing, an anniversary blessing. So anybody here celebrating a March anniversary? Perfect. Frain and Sandy, come on up. Go. Excellent. Come on up. A lot of people. Anybody else? All the way up. Congregation, rise, please. Help us open it.
We switch.
So let me just ask, how many years have you been married? 39 years. Mazel tov. Wonderful. And where were you married? Seattle, Washington. Excellent. Wow. Well, welcome to Los Angeles.
Thank you.
63 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. That's it's the year before I was born. Just to put that in context. Excellent. Very nice. Well, it is wonderful to celebrate, especially long, happy, wonderful marriages. And I hope beyond this moment that you're here with us to receive a blessing, I hope you feel that your lives together have been a blessing for these 39 years and these 63 years. Deresh Rabbi Akiva Ish v'Isha Zachu Shechina b'neihem. If the husband and wife are worthy, the divine presence abides. God, eternal source of being, we turn to you in gratitude for the strength and the devotion that have preserved and sustained these couples and have permitted them to reach this sacred hour. and you are in the midst of this sacred congregation, perhaps loved ones and family and friends, and no doubt that you look back upon the years that have passed since you first pledged yourselves to one another, since you first stood beneath the chuppah. No question that many and varied have been your experiences since that day, and many unquestionably have been mingled occasions of victory and defeat, of fulfillment and disappointment. But we hope that you have recalled many, many joys that have graced your days with light and beauty. And no doubt at this moment you can recall a few dark clouds that shook you. But in joys and trials alike, God, you have been with these couples, and we pray that you will continue to be with them, guiding and sustaining them in the years to come. So here in the presence of the sacred congregation of family, of friends, loved ones near and far, we all say together, Amen.
Amen.
And we join and singing.
Simin tov and mazel tov and mazel tov and simin tov and mazel tov and mazel tov and simin tov and mazel tov and simin tov.
Congratulations. You can stay here for the Eleni, okay? Congratulations. Stay here for a minute. You can stay for a minute.
Mazel tov, mazel tov, and simin tov, and mazel tov, and simin tov, and mazel tov, and simin tov.
586 remain standing.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
At this moment, let us recall loved ones whom death has recently taken and those who died at this season in years past. We call to mind most especially any of you who are here mourning the period of Shiva, the 7-day mourning period. If you are here mourning the 7-day mourning period, I invite you to rise at your seat and mention the name of your loved one aloud. If there's anyone here who is mourning the period of the Shloshim, the 30-day mourning period, and you wish to remember a loved one, I invite you to rise at your seat and remember your loved one aloud, please. We also think of Lynn Rogers and Martin Albert Snyder, for whom we are observing the period of the Shloshim. If you are with us this evening in this sanctuary, and you are here to observe the Shana, the year-long period of mourning, if you are here for Yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of a loved one, or if you are here to remember a loved one for any reason, please rise at your seat and mention the name of your loved one aloud.
My father, Maurice Biederman.
Our friend Henry Oster.
We think also of those whose families have memorialized their loved ones immediately outside the Goor Sanctuary: Peter Alderman, Herman Breskin, Harold F. Carter, Doris Harriet Cole, Nathaniel Fisher, Louis Gershman, Samuel Morris Glatzer, Bernard I. Goldberg, William Goldsmith, Michael Grossblatt, Evelyn Gruskoff, Fanny Heltzer, Irving Jablon, Victoria Jablon, Edna Kane, Lee Evan Kymack, Bradley Scott Lebov, Samuel Isaac Lehman, Raymond David Littman, Selma Marcus, Sylvia Motti, Beth Nagursi, Henry Oster, Hattie Posner, George L. Rosenfield, Rose Schneid, Bert Seaman, Hope Silver, Louis Specht, Shirley Turkle, George E. Ugaretz, Samuel Waltzer. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing to their loved ones. We rise as a congregation for the Kaddish on page 598. Yitgedal v'yitgedash shemei rabbah, ba'al ma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayichon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shemei rabbah mevarach leolam omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu, Leila bin kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiran v'yama v'imru amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom ben romav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn comfort the bereaved among us, and let us say together, amen. First of all, wonderful choir this evening. We should all give them a metaphorical shout out. David, MB, and Randy, our A-team here as accompanists, are doing a great job. We really appreciate the joy and wonder they bring to our service. And I think we're going to invite, there is a bat mitzvah tomorrow.
There is a bat mitzvah tomorrow.
And I see Adriana and I see her family here.
Yeah.
So it'd be lovely to have them come up and help share in Kiddush, but also to sing Oseh Shalom with us. So our closing song is, in fact, Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava uvratzon, hinilanu, zikaron lema'aseh, berei Ki hu yom tehila, let me cry kodesh. Zeher litziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu varta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim. Be'Shabbat koshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, kinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh Shabbat.
Amen. L'chaim.
There we are.
Let's join together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Another month, right? You're learning. Oh, and you're taking a class? You're in the bar mitzvah class? Oh, ready to go. All right. I like hearing you behind me. That was kind of fun. Oh, yeah? But we got to do this next to me next time because I don't miss singing next to you. But we'll figure it out.
Well, now I know the call time's 5, not 5:30.
Yes.